G'day team, it is your boy Charlie, exercise scientist, presenting the fundamentals of nutrition for health and fitness. Alright, Team Tech, let's roll in. Why is it important to understand nutrition? Understanding nutrition is essential because it directly affects our overall health, energy levels, and well-being. The food we consume impacts how we feel, perform physically, and even how we age. A strong understanding of nutrition helps make informed choices about what we eat, ensuring that we nourish our bodies effectively and meet daily needs and long-term health goals. This whole video is about why it is important to understand nutrition and how we can understand nutrition. I'm going to talk at a screen for the next couple of minutes, so listen up and enjoy the ride. All right, first up, we have energy intake and expenditure. So energy intake refers to the calories consumed through food and drink, while energy expenditure is the total amount of energy the body uses to perform all of its functions throughout the day. For weight maintenance or to achieve specific health and fitness goals, it's crucial to understand how this works within the body. So energy intake is primarily determined by the food and beverages we consume, which provide the energy needed to fuel bodily functions and physical activity. This energy we measure in calories. There is also kilojoules that we use as well. They're just both think metric and imperial systems. They're both the same thing, they just measure differently, okay? Carbohydrates, proteins, and fats are the main sources of calories, while alcohol also contributes highly to energy intake. Okie dokie. Next up, left side, we have basal metabolic rate and thermogenic effect of food. We can largely not change these. These cannot be changed very much at all, but we can control the right side through exercise and our non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Okay, so I'll explain them all as we go. Let's start with the top left-hand corner with basal metabolic rate, or BMR if you want to be super fancy and have annotations. Anyway, it's abbreviations are fine. It's just everybody uses them. I get the shit. All right, basal metabolic rate represents the energy required to maintain basic bodily functions at rest. These functions include breathing, circulating blood, regulating body temperature, and maintaining cell function. It accounts for 60 to 75% of our total energy expenditure. We can't change much of this. This is just what we need to survive. So the only real things that it influences is like age, sex, body composition, and genetics. So not too worried about this one. It's just how life works, mate. Anyway, bottom left-hand corner, thermogenic effect of food. We've got, it refers to the energy required for the digestion, absorption, and metabolism of food. After eating, the body uses energy to break down nutrients, process the food, and absorb its components. This accounts 5 to 10%. Okay, yes, you could theoretically change your diet so that it had a little bit more thermogenesis. I would not go down this route. It's probably not going to end in your favor. Top right hand side, exercise. This is what we can influence the most. Anyway, physical activity is the most variable part of our component, and it's anything that we would include in what we'll call, I suppose, specific exercise functions, like running, weightlifting, that sort of thing. All right, it counts for 5 to 10%. This largely remains unchanged from like a variable point of view, because it's difficult to get more than 10% of exercise. So if you're sort of thinking about, oh, I can like, just run more or have more time in the gym in order to lose weight, it's going down the road of eating less food is probably what I'm saying is going to be an easier option. Bottom right hand corner, without further ado, we have non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or NEAT for short. So NEAT includes all energy expended from all non-exercise activities, anything from fidgeting to walking to doing chores, walking upstairs, walking downstairs, things like that. It varies greatly from person to person depending on the lifestyle. So someone obviously who has a more active job might burn a little bit more than someone who doesn't. We would sort of put it in the 15 to 30% range of our total energy expenditure. Okay, so to summarize, more than 60% of your diet is uncontrolled. We cannot change this. It won't change from anything drastic that you do. So really we try to affect the right hand side, but if you're looking for either weight gain or weight loss, we would look at slides that I just explained with how we would influence energy intake as opposed to trying to influence energy expenditure. Okie dokie. Right, moving on. This fancy little graph here, I wouldn't take it too seriously, just in the sense of it gives you a nice sort of visual as to how things work. So this marker in the center here, we'll call that our maintenance calorie range. And that's where we would be in a state of energy balance. So when energy intake equals energy expenditure, we are in a state of energy balance, which is necessary for maintaining body weight. If energy intake exceeds the expenditure, i.e. if more calories are consumed than burnt, we're in a calorie surplus, which might lead to weight gain, because all that extra energy is stored as fat, leads to weight gain. Conversely, as we come down this scale a little bit more, if the energy expenditure exceeds the intake, i.e. more calories are burned than consumed, the body will utilize stored fat for energy, leading to weight loss. You cannot beat this. This is science. If this is where your energy balance sits and you're on this side of the scale, you lose weight. There's no way around it. If you're on this way, you will gain weight. No way around it. No ifs, no buts, no coconuts. There are factors that affect energy expenditure. However, it's still, think of it, I like to use the bucket theory. If you've got a bucket of water and the bucket overflows with water, then you've got too much energy coming into that theoretical bucket, and that water has to go somewhere to be stored. If you've got your bucket and there's less energy in that bucket, the bucket gets smaller. Sometimes that theory works, sometimes it doesn't. But anyway, our factors that include energy expenditure are age, body composition, hormones, environmental factors, and stimulants like caffeine. Like I said before, they don't vary greatly. Okay, so we sort of want to stick into this range here. So moving on. So our macronutrients. We've got three. We have carbohydrates, protein, and fats. All right, very simple stuff. They're the three primary nutrients that we need to provide calories to our bodies. Each macronutrient plays a distinct role in our health, exercise performance, and recovery. So let's break down the science of each of them. First up, carbohydrates. Our body's source of quick energy. They're broken down into glucose, sugar, which is used as a very simple form of energy. Okay, so you've got simple carbs versus complex carbs. Simple carbohydrates, think chain. So you've got a molecular chain. In simple carbohydrates, you might have 1, 2, maybe 3 little chains in that molecular chain. So our body finds it really easy for us to break it down, and it quickly digests and absorbs it, providing fast energy. Things like this would be sort of like anything that includes sugar, fruit, milk, Gatorade, if that makes sense to you at all. Those sorts of things might go into that box. Then you've got complex carbohydrates, which are made up, that chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe something like that. They're made up of longer chains. So it provides slower, more sustained release of energy. So an example would be like whole grains, rice, spreads, legumes, and starchy vegetables and things like that. When we consume carbs, insulin is released from the pancreas to help transport glucose into the cells. The body uses this glucose for immediate energy or stores it as glycogen in muscles and liver for later use. Carbohydrates play a big role in exercise. They're especially important for endurance athletes and those performing high-intensity exercise. During prolonged activity, muscle glycogen is a primary energy source, and consuming carbohydrates before and during exercise can and will enhance the performance. It's important to note that the things that we don't use, yes, they are stored. Eventually, they will be stored as fat if they're not utilized throughout the day. Protein, the big dog. I think protein gets a bad rap. I think people think that it's, it's sort of this fella over here, a bit of a gym rat, bit of a protein fiend. No, protein does play a major role in a lot of things, and we will find that out through this slide. Proteins are made up of amino acids, which are the building blocks for tissues, including muscles, enzymes, and hormones. There are 20 amino acids, 9 of which are essential, and the other 11 not essential. But they must be maintained through food because the body cannot naturally produce them. Okay, it is not that important to know which amino acids are essential and which ones aren't. As long as you're eating a protein-rich diet, you will get the amino acids you need. All right. Protein plays a critical role in muscle repair and growth after exercise, especially strength training. Muscle fibers undergo small little micro tears. Proteins help repair these fibers and build them back stronger. And this process, if anyone's interested, is called muscle protein synthesis. All right. Proteins also support metabolism by aiding in enzyme function and the production of hormones like insulin, which helps regulate blood sugar. During exercise, consuming protein can help reduce muscle breakdown and promote recovery. I would say afterwards as well, protein's definitely a good idea. So in essence, you create some micro tears, you do your weight training session. If proteins are readily available during and after that session, then obviously we're going to kickstart that recovery process so that our muscles are more recovered quicker, which allows us to train more often, allows us to grow bigger muscles. Oh yeah, we have fats. Fats probably get the worst rap. They are a more energy dense macronutrient. They provide 9 calories per gram compared to the 4 calories per gram for carbs and protein. So yes, they are far more dense in energy. However, they're still very essential. So you've got 3 different fat types. You've got saturated fats. They're found in edible products and some plant oils like coconut oil. You've got unsaturated fats, and underneath that umbrella, you've got monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats. They're found in foods like olive oil, nuts, seeds, and fatty fish like salmon. Last but not least, you have trans fats, typically found in processed foods, should be avoided as they have been linked to increased risk of heart disease. Macronutrients, they're all important. Fats, also important. Carbohydrates, also important. Protein, also important. How about we talk about some of the important things about these fats? We have energy storage. The body stores fat in adipose tissue for later use, which is particularly important during long duration, low intensity exercise, such as walking or long distance running, where fat becomes a major energy source. That's called oxidation. It also helps in hormone production and cell function, and it supports things like testosterone and estrogen. They also assist in the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A, D, E, and K. In essence, all of your macronutrients are very important. Proteins, carbohydrates, fats, they all play a big role in what's going on. Okay, each macronutrient is essential not only for daily functions, but also for enhancing exercise performance. All right, so if we're sort of talking about the sort of different percentage of things that we want, is in a pre-workout nutrition essence, we want a small meal with carbs and some protein that provides quick energy for intense exercise, while the protein helps support that muscle recovery need. Post-workout, we would have a combination of carbohydrates to replenish those glycogen stores and protein to aid muscle repair. Some people think that there's a really small window where that's really important. Think of it as like an anabolic barn door. Is that as long as within a couple of hours you're getting a good meal in that includes those macronutrients, I think you're doing well. All right. The optimal ratio of macronutrients depends on your activity levels, your goals, and your body composition. A rough sort of a guide might be this 45, 30, and 25. Essentially, we just want a nice mix between the 3. Okay. All right. Excellent. No one can talk back, so it's just me spitting facts. All right, nutrition tips. Understand the basics. To build muscle, you need adequate protein and calories. To lose fat, You need to be in a caloric deficit while maintaining muscle. The key is balance, eating enough to fuel workouts, but not excess that leads to fat gain. You prioritize protein intake. Aim for 2-ish, and I say 2-ish because it's you can get bogged down in these details, but essentially, if we're getting 2-ish, then we're eating enough. 2-ish grams of protein per kilo of body weight, I should say, as that, not just 2-ish grams per day. It's yeah. Do a little bit of maths, calculate it. Good sources include lean meats like chicken, turkey, and lean beef, fish, salmon, tuna, and cod, that sort of thing. Eggs and dairy, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. If you're going plant-based, tofu, lentils, and quinoa might be there. It's important to mention that if you are plant-based, it can be sometimes difficult to get all of those essential amino acids I talked about before in, but definitely not impossible. Protein helps in muscle repair and growth while keeping you feeling full. Manage your carbs. Don't think of carbs as a bad thing, please. They've gotten a bad rap from time to time. Carbs provide energy, but when they're not controlled, they will store as fat. Prioritize the complex carbs like whole grains, the brown rice, quinoa, and oats, vegetables, broccoli, spinach, bell peppers, and fruits, berries, apples, and bananas. Those fruits are particularly important around our training times. Avoid your refined sugars and excessive processed foods, and the timing does make a difference in the way that your carbs are absorbed. Focus on healthy fats, things like avocados, nuts and seeds, olive oil, coconut oil, fatty fish, those sorts of things. Hydration and recovery, this shouldn't need to be said. Drink your water, 3 to 4 liters. Proper hydration aids in muscle function and fat metabolism. If our water's not there, we can't carry our nutrients across the osmosis layer. It's just sciencey things don't seem to happen when we're not drinking enough water. Okay? Sleep as well. Anyone that knows me knows sleep is very important to the way that I would tell you how to live your life. And not that I'm going to tell anyone how to live their life today. I'm just spitting facts over here, but 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep can hinder your muscle growth and fat loss, as well as obviously impacting all the rest of the shit going on in your life, all right? Meal timing, all right? 3 to 5 balanced meals of that nice sort of, let's say, a pie graph of fats, proteins, and carbs. We want a nice mix of all of the three in a lot of our meals. All right, late night snacking can also sort of make a bit of a difference. But anyway, track your progress, and adjust as you go. Monitor your calories and macronutrients using apps like MyFitnessPal. Adjust based on results. Not gaining muscle? Increase calories gradually. Not losing fat? Reduce calories slightly as you go. Stay consistent and be patient. All right. The summary. I hope you got what you wanted out of this. This took me longer than it probably should have to make, but I think it's been good. I think it's good for everyone to understand what's going on. Okay. Take care about what's going on. Focus on your nutrition. As always, consult me, consult someone else you might be talking to that might be a little bit more knowledgeable about me than this, but start with the basics, work your way up. You'll be fine. It's not rocket science. All right. Thanks, guys. Charlie out.